Emily just sent me this M20. If you guys want to check it out, please click the link in the description and the comments. Also use Kirk Rifle's promo code down below to save $150 on the Engwe M20. This thing is a showstopper. You can get it in multiple colors. I chose the green and the tan, kind of that vintage beautiful color combination. Now you can also get the Engwe with just one battery pack. I got the double battery pack. It doubles your range. Now best case scenario with the 2 battery packs, you can get around 90 miles of range with pedal assistance level 1, which pedal assistance level 1 is still around 15 miles per hour. So it goes up to about 25, 26. We'll test out the top speed today. So let's start on the front and then we'll work our way around. We have double LED headlights and daytime running lights. Love that feature. And check this out. If I go to the back, I also have a brake light as well that illuminates when you get on the brake pedals, or should I say the brake handlebars up there. Love that feature. Now with the quick press of a button, I can flash the headlights to just let people know that I'm here. We have these huge fat tires, 4 inches across, 20-inch in diameter. We have disc brakes front and back. We also have metal. I like that sound. I like having that sturdy fender guard here as well. Coming up to the top, your throttle is like a motorcycle or a scooter. It's right here on your right hand, which is quite nifty. When you have battery power, I just always keep it in 7th gear because the motor helps out quite a bit. Now we also have the little digital cluster here that lets you know miles per hour, your pedal assistance. There's a button here at the bottom. You can go all the way up to level 5, which will top out the speed on this guy. And you turn on the bike with just a simple press of this button here on the back. Front brake, rear brake, pretty standard. You have a little horn as well, which is quite comical. But hey, it's gonna get people's attention. I hear it echoing off the trees and whatnot. All right, you have adjustable suspension in the front, and I love that we have a suspension here on the rear. Really helps soak up the bumps in the road on the street. The motor in the back is 1,000 watt or 750 watts continuous power. It's plenty enough to get this 100-pound bike with the two battery packs. It's around 100 pounds, and this electric motor is plenty enough to get this thing accelerating. Got the little Engwe badge here on the seat cover, and the seat is very, very comfortable. It's just a generic foam mount that I have, but the cool thing is both of these battery packs have a USB-A outlet. Check this out. I have a little cord that's running to my phone. So your phone can stay topped off while you're riding. You can have your GPS on the phone. Last but not least, we have a 7-speed Shimano gearbox here in the back. But like I said, I mainly just keep it in 7th gear unless I run out of battery power. And then you can use the excellent gearing to help your legs out so you're not crushing them at low speeds. Putting the Engwe M20 together took me about an hour and a half. I took my sweet time. It's pretty hot in the summer. Now, when you first open the box, lots of foam to take out. There's a couple packages on top here that are going to have all your tools, your charger, some stickers as well, your pedals, the manual. Your headlight assembly comes in its own box as well, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, I tried picking the bike up out of the box. That was a mistake. Yes, you could disassemble the box, but I just found it easier to slowly tip over the box and slide the bike out. Just be careful when you're doing this because you don't want to scrape the paint. So make sure you're doing it on a soft surface, either carpet or, maybe even grass would be okay. Make sure to bring your best set of scissors because there are over 30 zip ties on this bad boy to keep the pieces in the right spots when you're shipping, but also to protect a lot of the areas of the bike. This little tag was hanging from the handlebars. It's a little tip to let you know the derailleur in the back. Just to make sure to check it. It comes with this protection bar right here, and they're just like, hey, make sure you double check that it's not running into the derailleur when you open the package. All right, onto the assembly of the handlebars. That was one of the first things you did. You can do it with the hex wrench here, but once I untorqued these bolts, I just used my little hand drill here to power it out. The headlight assembly was a bit tricky here. The instructions on the manual were definitely not clear, but there is an online video that really helped out. So I'll put that video in the link in the description for you guys if you're having a tough time with the headlights. Also, these cables right here, it might be a good idea to tuck them into the housing at the bottom of the headlights. There's a little housing here you can kind of shove the cables into so they're a little bit better protected from the elements. Now for putting on the wheel, they flipped the bike upside down. I tried doing it with it right side up and it was just not going to work. So I recommend flipping the bike upside down on a big carpet or something soft so you protect the paint as well when you do that. This is the correct order of assembly for the axle and the wheel here. This is on non-brake side, so this piece is actually longer than this piece over here on the brake side, which is obviously the shorter piece. Also, you want to make sure that washer catches in that little hole in the front fork. Now, this is where I used an additional 15 millimeter wrench. After a while, it starts spinning the whole axle here, so you got to keep one end tightened down. Also, a nice little attention to detail here. I like how the fenders are made out of metal, and a lot of the competitors out there have like a hair pulling experience to put on the fenders. This was the easiest fender not only to put on, but it's held on with really heavy duty bolts here that have their own little piece that comes off the fork area. I love putting on the front fender here. Super easy to do. You also have these little protection caps on the front to protect your little lug nut as well. These pedals didn't have a little sticker to tell me which pedal went where, but you have a 50-50 shot. If it doesn't spin in the way the sticker is telling you to, then you just use the other pedal. The tires arrived with 9 PSI, so make sure to pump them up to the 20 PSI recommendation. Charging each battery will take you about 5 hours, so 10 hours total if they're run completely down. And you have to charge them one at a time. There's no daisy chain situation here. Gives you an idea of the bottom of the battery as well. You use the little keys there to unlock it from the frame. Well, let's get started on the Engwe M20 here. This bike, surprisingly, despite its heft, if you have it in the right gearing, it's an absolute breeze to ride. Now, you're not going to want to ride it in leg only or pedal only for very long, especially at higher speeds. But at low speeds, it is very easy to do. You're just not going anywhere fast. But yeah, at 6th, 7th gear topped out, it is a bit, it's a bit difficult for me. And my legs, they're really long. This bike would be perfect for someone who's a little bit shorter. I would say 5'8" to 6 foot. You're going to be a little bit better set up to generate force to get your weight into these pedals. But yeah, I'm just a little tall for this bike. But the cool thing is that I have 2 battery packs strapped to me and a 1,000-watt motor. So let's go ahead and pump up the pedal assistance to 5 here. And there it starts kicking in. Now, I prefer not to wait for the bike to realize that you're pedaling, because this bike, it takes a little bit for the throttle to kick in, so I manually get into the throttle, and it's much more responsive to helping either your legs out or just accelerating on its own. This bike, well, let's get into the brakes here. I mean, we're gonna hit 23. Let's get hard into the brakes. The bike stays nice and stable. It doesn't dive down at all. And then when we get back up to speed here, I do like pedaling. It's so much easier having the pedal assist motor with you. The motor, you know, especially if you're in top gear, it does not like starting out by itself, which is fine, because if you help just a little bit with your legs, it really pushes you forward quite easily. You know, twist that wrist like you're on a motorcycle. That's kind of the vibe that this bike gives, right? And then you're up to speed. So let's see what kind of top speed we can get here. I'm not pedaling at all. I'm hitting about 24, 25. Going downhill, there's 26. Going downhill, I was able to get about 29 miles an hour. And going uphill, it'll cap out in electric only at about 18 miles an hour. But if you pedal, you'll definitely get up to 20 going uphill. But of course, the grade is going to matter. Let's throw this into the curve here. And this feels like a really light motorcycle. When you throw it in the turns, it really likes to lean. It feels really agile. Now, I compare this more to a motorcycle than I would say an e-bike, or just a normal bicycle, I should say, because it's got the cool headlights. It's got a seat that is totally more like a motorcycle than a typical bike seat. And hitting some bumps there, the suspension does such a good job smoothing everything out. Getting back onto the throttle here, that way I don't have to wait for the bike to realize that I'm pedaling again. And boom, I'm just able to keep it in 7th gear all the time, as long as I'm using the electric motor. Get into the brakes, yeah. They do stop well. You do have to pull quite hard, but they will get this bike stopped for sure. And this bike is absolutely perfect for getting to the beach. For me, it would be perfect for getting to the park, doing little grocery runs, take a backpack with you. And yeah, I mean, if you don't have a car, you're unable to like afford a car, like this thing has so much swag and presence on the road for a bicycle. Like you'll definitely be turning, I've been turning a lot of heads with this bike since having it for the past couple of weeks, and it's just been a lot of fun to ride on it. If you want to have that presence on the road on an e-bike that you typically can't get on a bicycle, this will do it. Some people might mistake it for a real motorcycle because of the headlights and the battery pack kind of looks like a tank. But once they see you pedaling, they'll be like, oh, you're on a bike, you know, you can be on the sidewalk. But I'm gonna finish this up with Kirk on the beach with the Engwe M20. So I hit the apex, yo, let's go. Out of all the e-bikes I've tested, I think the Engwe M20 is undoubtedly the coolest with the headlights, with that cafe racer design. The double battery pack looks super cool. The color combination, everything about this bike screams, look at me. And if you want an e-bike that has some flair as well as lots of range, lots of power, lots of functionality, check out the Engwe M20 in the description. Use my promo code KirkRifles150 for that 150 bucks off your purchase. And I'm gonna sign out. Thank you, Engwe, for sending me this bike. I'll catch you guys in the next e-bike video, as well as all my general automotive coverage as well. Thank you, have a great day.